Hello, welcome to another episode of Shadow. In this episode, we have for you an extreme film hiker who is on a mission to climb the highest mountains on each continent. So, climbing the world's highest mountains, or rather climbing the highest mountain on each continent, seems like everyone could do it, you know? All you do is just take pictures at the top. Even me, I can wake up tomorrow and do it.
Yeah, of course you can do it. Everybody can do it. If you train every day, if you can walk with a backpack of roughly 30 kilos, if you can climb with 50 to 30% oxygen. So if you can imagine that, yeah, you can do it, of course.
Hi, my name is Shanice Juma and I'm a student just like you. Are you looking for the right job? Then let's follow these professionals together and see what these jobs are really about.
Hi, my name is Hilke Knot and I'm a photographer, filmmaker, and currently I'm working on a big documentary that's climbing the 7 summits. That's the highest mountain of every continent.
How are you still alive?
Well, it's a good question actually. Most of the time when I climb a mountain, I'm being more careful than I walk here on the street. So that's how you keep yourself alive, and you watch over yourself and over the other guy that you climb with. So basically I have to trust the other guy with my life. The other guy is Jure Rademakers. It's a good friend of mine now. I met him 3 years ago in the start of the project. I started photography when I was early 20. I went to Morocco for 5 weeks for windsurfing because I windsurf all my life. And I got really sick because of a parasite. And well, I was planning always to go to the water to windsurf, but after 5 minutes I was so tired that I couldn't windsurf anymore. So what I did, I brought a camera with me, and it was a small one. But I really loved shooting the windsurfers, my friends, my family, they all windsurf, so that was pretty fun. And I bought another camera, a bigger one, a bigger lens, and another one, and I tried some portraits, I tried some different stuff. And at that time I thought like, okay, I have to do something with it. So I started to study communication multimedia design. And in the beginning I didn't know anything about filmmaking. Actually, I learned it all by myself on the study and on the fly with friends, and I got in touch with other companies to see how big productions work. And at a certain point, a friend of mine asked me to film his C1 course in the mountains. So I never was in the mountains, never before, but I really liked it. So, and 2 years later I thought I have to do something with it because I did a lot of commercials back then and music videos. But I wanted to do something more with my roots and with extreme sports. So I went back to him, asked him, like, can we do another shoot, like, for my study? And so we did an off-slope skiing movie. And then I got asked by the project I'm working on now, which is the 7 summits, 1 year, and now it's already 3 years later. So, what's the most amazing thing you got to film? Well, I think it's in front of me, actually. It's also the second question. What should I be most proud of? Because this is a photo of Mount Everest, of the South Summit. And at that moment I had problems with my camera. I had it in my down suit and my zipper was frozen. So I had to break open my zipper to get my camera, but I had to be careful because if my zipper got broken, that means that I got so cold that it could die. And at that moment everybody had problems with altitude and couldn't really function normally. Even so, I think here 50 meters from this shot, the friend of mine had to cross a dead body, and he didn't even notice the dead body, even on the way down. Because of altitude, your mind just shuts the unimportant things, just shuts them down. Have you gotten into a dangerous situation because you wanted to get the perfect shot? Yes, a lot. But dangerous on the mountain is a fine line. Once in Kyrgyzstan I got really altitude sickness and the weather turned really bad. So I passed out on that part a lot, and I sent off the guy who I was climbing with to get a fresh trail. And yeah, because I wanted to film on that altitude and wanted to film that guys, I put myself in quite a bit of danger because of the altitude. And those guys already went to that altitude, so they were acclimatized and I wasn't. So that was a pretty big risk to push my body so hard up the mountain to film everything. But eventually I came to the camp and made it, but I blacked out many times getting to the camp and film there, so yeah. And of course other times that I tripped. I tripped once last year and my camera broke down because I wanted to make a shot. So I slid down the mountain for like 30-40 meters until I stopped. But yeah, many of those stories, you know. What do you love the most about your job? Well, the freedom, actually. I can do everything myself. I can plan everything myself. If I want to go to the gym in the morning here, then I go to the gym. I want to have a couple beers in the evening and I drink one too many, then it doesn't matter because the next day I'm my own boss. And next to that, I can see the whole world. So I've been to so many countries. Most people will probably not get to so many countries in their whole life that I get in maybe 1 year sometimes. So I love that about my job and meeting all the people on the way, on the go. A day on my job depends if I'm on expedition. On expedition I plan always the day before what I'm going to shoot the next day. Also because I have to know how much battery I have to take and what gear I have to take on the mountain if I go up. Then it's, for example, packing my bag already as much as I can in the evening. In the morning it's, well, unzipping my sleeping bag because most of the time where I sleep it's really cold in the tent. And getting my batteries out of my sleeping bag because they have to stay warm, otherwise they don't function. If we climb the mountain, we get water in the morning, we drink as much as possible because of the high altitude. You have to drink like 5 liters a day. And then you go up, you get out and you have a warm or a cold start. That means that either you put a really big down jacket on if you expect that it stays cold, but most of the time because it's the beginning of the day, then the sun goes out. But if you do a summit push, you start probably in the middle of the night, or on Everest, if you get through an ice fall, that's really dangerous in the middle of the day because it melts and the ice is, you cannot trust the ice. And when you climb, you look for good angles to shoot. So, and that means if you see one, and sometimes it means you have to walk faster than other climbers, climb before others, or say to another climber that he has to wait. Sometimes that's not possible because of the cold or too dangerous. If there are any crevasses, then you have to walk through, and yeah, that sucks because you saw a nice shot. Most of the time, every 1.5 to 2 hours, if it's possible, you stop. You have a break, a small break. That means in 2 minutes you drink you have a quick snack, and otherwise you get too cold if you stay any longer on your place, and you continue to climb. If you know that you're gonna fly the drone in a half an hour, I take my battery out, my backpack, I put them inside my pocket and to my body to keep them warm, and then I can fly the drone in a half hour later. Then you come to the next camping place to set your tent up, and you rest there. That's basically a day, and you set up your sleeping bag again, your mattress and solar panels as quickly as possible for the last sunlight to charge what's left of the empty batteries. You go to bed. Health-wise, when climbing, if you can imagine the worst hangover possible, that's altitude sickness. So if you get at a certain point, it's mostly above 5,000 meters, then as a cameraman, because I'm always going faster and stop and going faster and stop, I probably got altitude sickness 10 times faster than a normal person because of that. Because the normal routine is really rhythm. Find your rhythm and stick to that. And if it's a bit too fast, okay, adjust it a little. But what I do is just run, stop, shoot, and run again. So that's a really big impact on your body. Also, on really high mountains like Everest, if you go to the summit above 8,000 meters, it's called the dead zone. And the dead zone is they call it for a reason like that. Because your body is dying on that altitude. Really, literally, it's dying. You cannot survive there longer than 3 days without extra help. When I climbed Everest this year, on beyond 8,000 meters in the night, sometimes, because of the altitude, you just fall asleep every step you make. And you wake up because your body is like, oh fuck, I'm falling. So that's the part of the difficulties, but also it's a mental game, because like Everest is 2 months long. Staying there for 2 months, in the cold, in a tent, taking no showers for 2 months. All the food tastes the same, shitty. You don't have a toilet, so shitting on a bucket or outside is horrible. You get food poisoning after one and another. And this year I had COVID in base camp, so I had a fever. You feel really shitty. So mentally, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. But it can also be really fun. And you all forget that when you came down a mountain. A month later, you all remember only the nice things. So you think of when I can go again. The message I'm trying to bring with this project, or the Seven Summits project, is basically the way to the summit. So most mountaineers are only focusing on the summit itself and forget the way to the summit. So it's more about enjoying also the moment where you're 2 months on expedition on Everest, and the summit is just a bonus. So all the way that 2 months, you have to enjoy it actually. And a lot of people just only focusing on the summit, and that's a shame, because then you miss the good part actually. I would recommend the students that want to try something like this to get out of their comfort zone, be really fit, extremely, because this is always a big impact for you. But get out of your comfort zone is the place where you learn most. So just try it, really. Go there, try it, don't be afraid. Just do it for yourself at first and see if it fits you. But the most important thing is that I think is your network around it. Like you can be the best photographer, but if you don't know how to network and get the right connections, then you're fucked. Because yeah, nobody sees your work then. The most important thing this project has given me is, I think, is a peace of mind. In the mountains, it's a big confrontation with yourself. because it's a mental game. You learn a lot of things about yourself that you didn't know. So I'm more easy, more relaxed in life and more enjoying life than before, I think.
So, what have we learned today? Networking is key. You can be good at photography and filming, but if you do not know how to network, it will be very difficult for you to be successful. 2. Be prepared. Climbing is an extreme sport and it will take a toll on you mentally, physically, and emotionally. And you have to get ready if this is what you want to do. And lastly, this is an extreme version of photography and filming. You do not have to get into climbing. There are other versions of it you can get into, but if you're passionate about it, if you're motivated by it, then it's something you can try to be adventurous. Until next time. Be prepared. Be prepared. Stop laughing, I am trying.